So again, thank you everyone for taking the time to be with us tonight. My name is Matt Antonelli. I know I've met many of you. Some of you I have not met before, but I am the head baseball coach here at Brooks. This is my first season here at Brooks. I was hired probably just under 2 months ago, so I'm really excited to be here. I know many of you already have been on Brooks's campus. You've taken tours, you've done interviews, but some of you have not. So I'm going to take probably about 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that to talk. We're going to go over a little bit more about myself. We're going to talk about Brooks and all that it has to offer. We'll talk about the Brooks baseball program, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So if you have any questions throughout, just jot them down, and I will spend as much time as you need answering all of those questions in a little bit. First, we'll start off. This is me and my family. So this is my wife, Laura, my two kids, Maddie and Mia. My son, Maddie, is 9. My daughter, Mia, is 6. If you end up attending Brooks, you'll probably see a lot of them, especially my son, Maddie, loves baseball. He's already trying to convince me to make him our opening day starter in the spring. So he's super excited about the season. Just a little quick kind of background on my playing career, because I was once where all of you are right now, and I was lucky to fulfill a lot of my childhood baseball dreams on the field. I grew up locally, so I grew up in Peabody, Massachusetts, went to St. John's Prep for high school in Danvers, and then I went on to play baseball at Wake Forest University down in North Carolina. I was fortunate enough to get drafted into Major League Baseball in the first round of the 2006 draft, and I ended up playing 8 seasons professionally. So I played for a bunch of teams. I made my debut in 2008 with the San Diego Padres, and then kind of bounced around, played with the Washington Nationals, the Baltimore Orioles, the New York Yankees, the Cleveland Indians. And then in 2013, Garrett Cole, who I'm sure some of you still watch on TV, struck me out my last at bat. My manager called me into the office and said he had seen enough strikeouts and released me. And that was the end of my playing career. But I love the game of baseball and everything that it provided me throughout my life. And I always knew that I wanted to be a coach in some capacity since I was a really, really young kid. And so I got right into coaching. I went into college coaching. I coached 1 season at my alma mater at Wake Forest University. My son was actually born while I was coaching there, and I wanted to be more local. So I ended up taking a job as the hitting coach and recruiting coordinator at the College of the Holy Cross, which is in Worcester, Massachusetts. I spent 1 season there. I was doing a ton of traveling. I was on the road for long stretches of time. I was starting to miss my wife and young son at the time. And so I decided to get out of college coaching. I wanted to be more local, and so I started my own travel baseball program, which I still run today. And I got into high school coaching, and that allowed me to do really what I love to do, which is help develop youth baseball players on and off the field. But it also allowed me to be home, be with my family more. And now, 8 years later, I've coached 8 years of high school baseball. I absolutely love it. And I'm really grateful to be here at Brooks and be part of building the Brooks program into something really special. Okay, let's talk more about Brooks, the school first, and then we'll get into the baseball program. So here's a really good look at our campus if you have not been to campus before. It's located in North Andover, Massachusetts. 270 acres is our campus. The school is home to approximately 370 students from 22 states and 15 countries, the last time that I checked. The Brooks community is really close-knit. There's 70% of the student body are boarding students. And you can see, if you look at the map here, if you look at the top right, you can see our field. We have a beautiful natural playing surface. If you look to the right of that, there's our turf football field that we can use if there is poor weather. Below that, is our athletic center, and that allows us to do work indoors if we need to, if the weather calls for it. We have an indoor batting cage that our players can use year-round. We have a beautiful weight room that has really everything that a baseball player needs to develop their body. We have an indoor hockey rink in there as well, which is completely turfed outside of the hockey season. So we're able to get on the turf, we can throw, we can do defensive workouts. If it's raining out, we're always able to get in there, which is nice. As you start to move towards the middle of campus, you can see, well, you can't really see it, but It's our dining hall, which is my probably second favorite part of campus so far. Actually, the first day I was on campus, I had an incredible chicken parm sub. And one of the main reasons I decided to coach here at Brooks because of the food. I'm just kidding, but it really was a really good chicken parm sandwich. As you continue to kind of work your way down to the center of campus, you start to enter more of the academic buildings. And so while we're on the topic of academics, let's talk a little bit more about that. I'm sure many of you know this. Brooks has a really long-standing tradition of excellence in academics and in character development. A couple things about the academics. Brooks offers 21 advanced placement courses. The learning environment at Brooks is really unique, really small classroom sizes. The average class is only 11 students. So it really allows faculty to foster strong relationships with all of the students. And, it ensures that every student is getting personalized attention and support throughout their academic journey. And Brooks has a really, really good track record of placing students at some of the best colleges and universities across the country. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about Brooks baseball, since that's what I know best. And I think it's really important as a player to understand the coaching philosophy of the coach that you're going to play for, so that you can see if it aligns with what you want from a head coach. And I really believe in honesty and transparency. So I'm not going to tell you one thing today and then have you walk on campus for the first practice and you go, whoa, this is not what I thought Coach Matt was going to be like. This isn't what he told me, because I've had that happen before. As a player, I've met plenty of coaches, and I've been like, oh, I really like this coach, great guy. Then I get on the field first day, and I'm like, I don't like this guy anymore. So I want you to have a really clear understanding of who I am and how I coach and my philosophy. So I believe that my philosophy kind of begins with the individual player. So I really want to build a program that I call it player first. So what I mean by that is, it's my job as the head coach to serve all of our players and provide them with an opportunity to improve themselves both on and off of the field. And for me, it starts with a genuine relationship that I'm able to develop with each player. So I've always been a really firm believer in the saying that players don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I think it's really important to care for every player and want the absolute best for them, regardless of what they can provide for the program. So it doesn't matter if you're an ISL All-Star or if you're a non-starter on our second team. I think every player deserves that. And from there, I really want to understand every player's strength and weakness. And it's not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. This really helps me create a plan for development. But it also helps me understand how to motivate each player, because every player is motivated differently. And I'm really honest and transparent, like I said before, with all of our players and with any player I've ever coached, of where I see them currently at, and then where I think that we need to get them in order for them to be the best that they can be and to ultimately help our team. And not every player always agrees with my assessment, and that's okay. But I want them to know what I see, because based on my evaluation, players are going to be given roles. And so these roles can change, and they will change throughout the year. But it's important for players to understand their role, accept their role, but always be working to improve their role and gain a bigger role through their work habits and how they practice and play. And then after we create this plan, it's really all about, putting in the work and doing the work. And, if you want to play for a team that I coach, you have to be willing to work really, really hard. I really love to work. I love the practice. I love the process of helping players improve. And I want to set the example and model the behavior that I want our players to follow. And that's hard work. It's competing every day. It's treating every team member with respect. It's showing compassion. It's being a good person. Ultimately, it's just about doing what's right. And so, our teams are always really well organized. We'll have a plan every day that we practice for players to improve individually and then also as a team. And obviously, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy each other's company. We'll really bond as a team. We'll ultimately become a family. And if, in the past, we've always broken down our practices with family on three. And I think if you ask any player that's played on one of my high school teams, they'll say that that's really what our team ultimately always becomes by the end of the year. And my goal ultimately, when I think about it for each of you, is to put you in a position to improve as a baseball player, to challenge you, to develop you, to make sure that I'm holding you accountable so that you're working on the field and in the classroom, so that you have a great baseball experience. You're the best version of yourself while you're in a Brooks uniform. You play at the highest level of college baseball possible, because many of our players want to do that. And some of you might play beyond that. You take the life lessons that you learn from the field that translate to life after baseball and use those to be a successful person and not just be a successful baseball player. Because I want to build a baseball program that doesn't just consist of great players, but consists of really great people. So now let's talk a little bit about the league. In case you don't know, we play in the ISL, the Independent School League. It's widely considered one of the top athletic leagues in New England. You're going to have the opportunity to compete with and against some of the best baseball players, not just in this area, but really in the country. And it provides you the opportunity to develop your skills and ability every time you take the field, because every time you step on the field, you're going to be playing against players that are really, really good. A lot of players are going to eventually go on and play college baseball. Our hitters are going to face consistently pitchers that are throwing, in the mid 80s and sometimes in the 90s. Our pitchers are going to have to get hitters out that are going to be, some are going to be committed to Power 5 college conferences. The field can be littered at times with current and future Division I players. Last year we played, I wasn't the coach, but I know this from looking at last year's season, that Brooks played against Thomas White. He signed for $4.1 million in the draft. So you're going to play against some of the best players around. And this isn't meant to scare anybody, but I've always felt that to improve as a player, you want to play with the best and you want to play against the best. And many of our players do eventually want to go on and they want to play college baseball. And by surrounding yourself with these top tier players, it'll elevate your game, but it will also attract the attention of college coaches, which will help you obviously move on to play college baseball. I'll talk real quick about our staff. So I feel that our coaching staff at Brooks is one of the top coaching staffs that you can find. I've been very lucky to have a staff of coaches with me that have been with me for a long time. Two of our coaches, I actually coached them from when they were kids. And then once they finished their college playing careers, they got into coaching with me. One of the coaches is my dad, so he coached me while I was a kid. They're all really knowledgeable. They have a great amount of experience. We're all on the same page, which is super helpful, especially being our first year at Brooks, when we need to get our players up to speed really quickly on how we want the game to be played. We have a dedicated pitching coach that'll handle our entire pitching staff and be with our pitchers on a daily basis. We'll have a hitting coach, as well as an outfield, infield, and catching coach. So I've coached enough high school baseball, and I know so many players in New England and from this area that play high school baseball. And they know that it's really rare to have a coach for all of the positions on the field. So we're really lucky that our players will have that and be able to benefit from that type of coaching. All of our coaches have really strong connections with college coaches and recruiters. As I said, I know many players at Brooks want to play college baseball. In my 8 years of coaching high school and running my own program, I've helped over 300 players move on from high school ball to college ball. We've had 7 players drafted into Major League Baseball. And I've been there really every step of the way with our players when it comes to the recruitment process. So I sit down with every player. I provide them with honest feedback. We create a target list of colleges that fit them athletically, academically, socially, and I categorize those into 3 lists. So reach, realistic, and safety schools. And then I use my connections that I've developed over the years to help, provide introductions and help maintain an open line of communication between you and the college coach. Talking about our spring season. So our spring season begins with a trip to Orlando, Florida on March 16th. That's when we'll go this year. So it's typically around the middle of March. We compete in 5 games while we're down there, as well as team practices. So this provides us a tremendous opportunity and an advantage really to prepare for the season while we're also bonding as a team in the warm weather of Florida. We're with each other while we're down there from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. So we have 3 team meals a day together. We have team meetings in the morning to go over any strategic part of the game. We're bused to and from practice and games every single day. And we also spend a few evenings at a Disney theme park. So we're able to bond together there as well. When we return home after that trip, we have tryouts to determine who's going to play on our first team and our second team. So basically it's a varsity and a JV team. We just call it first team and second team. And then we'll have a few scrimmages against outside competition. And we'll begin our regular season at the beginning of April. We play approximately 20 games during the spring season. That's not including those games down in Florida. And then our league tournament, which this year is the first year that we're going to have a league playoff, that begins towards the end of May, and it's completed right before Memorial Day weekend. Okay, so that was about 20 minutes. I probably talked way too much there. Hopefully I covered a lot of stuff. I'm going to open it up and answer any question that you have. Again, I've only been here for a little under 2 months, so I might not have all the answers to every question. If I have an answer, I'll give you the answer. If I don't have the answer, then I'm going to tell you I don't have the answer, and I'll go and try to find it and help you in that way. So